Okay, so the cult is formed and showing their behinds. Do you hear me? Let's talk about it.
And I'm like, come on through, Cookie. I want to pull my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag in all its forms. What, Cookie?
Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my video and my review for American Horror Story Cult, and this is episode 5. Like I said, the cult is actually formed at this point, and they are showing their behinds. This episode, they was cutting up. Anyway, we start right off with Beverly Hope and Bob. Her and Bob, you know, they're battling ever since this little situation has gone down with Serena, and it goes. Bob has not ever released the footage of what happened to her when the clowns killed her in front of the cameraman. He's holding that footage. There's this whole thing that her family is actually suing the station, suing the station for like sexual harassment and some other stuff, and saying that that the station didn't protect her and all of this. I'm sorry, take it back. What about sexual harassment? They didn't know that he was screwing her. About the fact that they felt like the station didn't have her protected, and that's how she ended up being murdered. So that little thing was going on, and so the footage has never been shown. Bob has the footage, and he's like, that's never going to be aired. So Beverly and him goes back and forth. Then he questioned Beverly about, how do you always get right on the scene? How do you always know what's going on? And this ain't what people want to hear. People don't want to hear this shit. They want to hear decent news. And she's like, people don't want to hear no decent news. People need to know what's really going on out there. This, that, thing, and the other. Her and Bob go back and forth. Bob told her, you know what? You're fired. I'm sick of you. Get out of my office. You're fired. And she was like, what? She's like, I know you don't want me to get a lawsuit going against you, Bob. He gonna say, do what you want to do. He got up in her ear and told her, get the fuck out of my office. I said, oh, okay. And she said to him that famous line, baby. And I said, oh, Bob, honey, when she looked at him just as nice and said, have a nice day, Bob. I said, oh. I said, Bob, your ass is done, honey. You are done. You don't even know it. Your ass is done. Told him to have a nice day. She left on out of here, baby. Next thing you know, you kind of see a meeting where they're actually having, they dealing with a little meeting, baby, and they was given, okay, this is what the problem is. These people they ain't getting scared enough. They ain't seeing actual footage of what's going on. And that's what Beverly was saying. You know, we're doing like this Clockwork Orange thing. Nobody's actually seeing the clowns other than the people that are getting killed. And it's not scaring America. We need to scare them. They need to see us in action. And that's where you really find out they are actually the clowns. They themselves are the individual clowns. The one, the dick nose, that's Kai, the deadliest of the deadly. And the other one is one of the girl clowns, the real dangerous one with the white face, that real ugly white face, look like an alien. That's Beverly. Them is the two you got to watch out for. You see them, you better run your ass off, honey. But anyway, so that's what they were saying. We got to get this together. So somebody stepped out of line. It was RJ. RJ is this little young guy that's actually part of the cult. I don't even know where RJ actually came from, but he's part of the cult. So all I know is he has said something, and baby Kai walked over there and gave him the blues. He gave him and smacked the shit out of him. I said, oh, you know, that cow will smack you down, honey. Remember how he smacked Meadow? Smacked the shit out of him. I said, oh, RJ, you better watch it, honey. So that all went on. So now let's go and talk about Allie. Allie and the psychologist. She basically was there, the psychologist, she's telling him, it's kind of crazy. I'm going through, like, her paranoia was getting really bad. And then her and the holes thing, she had this whole little episode where she was looking in the mirror and then she felt like she seen holes in her skin and then they had bugs. So it was disgusting. But that was where, her mind was telling her that. And she kept on rubbing and scratching and she had literally scratched her neck raw. Mess. So she's going through all that. And again, it was all part of this stuff playing out. Ivy has gone and taken the baby, and she's basically turning Oz against Allie, is basically what she's doing. Basically turning him against her. He don't really want to be bothered. She's missing him and all of this. They were actually, it's gotten so bad, they're like, actually, she's living in the house by herself. She's feeling some kind of way about being stuck in the house by herself, and that Ivy doesn't care because she knows she's scared, but she got her in a position where she got her in the house by herself. And all of that, knows that the house has been marked supposedly by the serial killer, and don't care. And all of that. So she's feeling some kind of way about all that. Then she says, it just seems to me, she says, I don't have money and different things. I have money that I can live off of. But it just seems to me like Ivy was preparing to lock it down like this. Like she has control over everything. And it just seems like when I think back, like she was preparing. And then she kind of flashes back to like September of 2016, where Ivy started fussing about money and this, that thing, and the other. And she started locking down on the finances and different things. And that's what she said. It just seems like she was planning. You damn right she was. You damn right she was. Then we end up seeing in flashes, we see Ivy and Winter together. Okay. Oh, and let me go back to that meeting real quick. When they were at that meeting, they basically said what they was going to do next. And Kai said flat out, Bob has to die. So we knew Bob was going to get it. Okay, flip back. So Ivy and Winter, they're in the car and everything, and just kind of talking about what's going on. Baby, Ivy and Winter been screwing. That's all there's to it. Ivy and Winter been together some kind of way, because she made reference to the fact that Oz has been asking her, is Winter going to be her third mommy? Which means they've been spending a lot of lap licking time together. I said, mess. I don't like that Allie. I didn't like her in the beginning. I just didn't trust her. And now I just don't like her. I think she's just trifling. She's a mess. I don't like her. Anyway, so they were actually, what we didn't know, they were on their way to Bob's house. Anyway, but she was saying in the car, she said, I hate the way things are in the world right now. I hate the way that the country is and the state that it's actually in. And I hate my wife for actually making the country get to what it is. So she's blaming her, for, they got a lot going on. Like she's basically blaming her for not voting for Hillary Clinton and the fact that it ended up going to Trump. So they're not really Trump. She's not a Trump supporter, but she just hate everything and everybody else. If she hate her because she didn't vote for Trump or didn't vote for Hillary. I said, oh gosh, she's just crazy. Anyway, just nuts. But again, it wasn't really about, this is not about, that cult is not about being a Trump supporter. And that cult is about you not getting what you want and blaming everybody else. You blame the world on whatever it is that's going on different than what you want to go on. You blame the world for every problem that you have. And it's just mess. But, and there are things that they fear, mess. Anyway, going on. So they go to Bob's house. Bob comes down the steps and Bob's just sitting there, got on his little white t-shirt, his little white underwear and everything. And he's in his kitchen. And the next thing you know, the clowns appear in the kitchen, baby. You know what's up with the clowns, baby. And the one clown bopped the shit out of him, gave him clack, had him upside his head with one of them, like a bowling pin, knocked the shit out of him. And he's like saying, wait a minute, what are you going to do? Y'all going to kill me? He going to say, well, who's going to take care of it? I'm the only one that takes care of it. The Gimp. He kept saying the Gimp. I said, what the hell's a Gimp? Anyway, so they go all the way up to the attic. in the attic, there's this person up there that's all into this whole S&M type of situation. He's literally hanging from the ceiling and he has the hooks in his skin. He's not responding to anything. He's just kind of there and his face is covered in latex and it's a man. I said, oh, okay, so Bob is a freakazoid. Bob is down with it all, baby. So that was that. Well, they're like, well, it's a gimp, so it's no big deal. He didn't see any of us, so we could set it free. Honey, Kyle was like, ain't no set it free. Everything and everybody has to die. Took that knife and gave down in the middle of the gimp, honey, and the pressure of him doing that made the things rip and it fell. Oh, it was a mess. They killed him. Brought Bob upstairs and they ready to get Bob. They all gave him a little stab. Well, Kai gave him a little stab. And then he got finished off by good old Beverly, baby. He's sitting there. He's still alive and he looking. And Beverly poured mask up. She says, see? And told him. And then, that was the other thing. They said they wanted to throw in the little satanic thing. They start saying things in, was it Arabic? I think it was Arabic. But they're saying things and trying to make themselves seem like Satan worshippers, where they're really not. They just, again, they know that Americans are afraid of that. So they were saying that. That's just because they're videotaping the whole thing. And she said, the Beverly does the whole little, whatever that little chant was, and then called him a motherfucker and bammed him in the head with an axe like Jason. Jason's mother's the one that did that. Like Mrs. Voorhees, honey. Gave him clack upside the top of the head, baby, and took him out. She killed Bob. And you should have seen his face when he seen it was Beverly, honey. He was giving, said, she told you to have a nice day, stupid. Tore him up. So that was that. So let's go back over Allie's house. Allie's doing the most. She over there with a telescope, child, and sees some movement going on over next door. She's like, what the heck's going on? She watched through the telescope and ends up seeing the neighbor, the guy, over there kissing and carrying on with the detective. And it's like, what the hell? Like, yeah, girl. Then she sees some other, so she go outside, she got a bat. She go around, she knows. She go around the other side of the house, and there's a hole. And down in the hole, she finds Meadow. It's basically a grave plot, is what they done dug it through Meadow down in the plot. And Meadow's like, help me. They're going to kill me, help me. And she runs on back home, baby, and calls Ivy. She's trying to tell Ivy something. Ivy's not really listening to her. She's not really listening to her. And she's like, I'm sick of all this. I can't deal with you and your paranoia and all of this kind of. Well, the next thing you know, you hear this banging on the door. She's like, oh my God, they're coming to kill me. So Ivy's sitting there, Ivy's on the phone. She drops the phone. And when she's standing by the window, when she looks up, Meadows outside of the window. And she's saying, please go away. She said, she will say, it's a cult. It's a cult. They're all part of a sick cult. They're going to kill me. And she said, everybody's in on it. Everybody, your wife and everybody's in on it. And then you see somebody grab her and put a white bag over her head, honey, and gave her, whoop, and they snatched her ass away and looked down, honey, and Ivy's on the phone, but Ivy still can't really hear exactly what's going on. And then you just kind of see her sitting there looking like, what the hell? I said, there you go, baby. You got the whole story. Now, what you gonna do? Alley-oop? So I was like, okay. So she ends up like hanging up on Ivy. And then that was it. And I was like, damn it. So we didn't hear anything more about that. The next thing we see a conversation with Kai and Beverly. They're having a little sit down. You know, when they do the little pinky swear thing, they sitting down. And Kai and Beverly start talking about weak links. And the weak links are Meadow and RJ. And then they flash back to when they did the murders of the people in the coffins. And RJ was saying how long are we going to keep them in there? You know, this, that, and the other thing. Because RJ didn't think that he thought they were just trying to scare him. He never thought they were literally going to leave them in there and let them decompose and all of that. So they're like, he ain't down. He ain't, I don't know about him. He's a weak link. He might actually turn us in. So they're like, okay, they got him. So that was that. And then when Little Thing, and Meadow actually had something to say about that too. So we already know what happened to Meadow. So, you know, Meadow's up for the chopping block. Then when they were over at Bob's house and they did the thing with the Gimp, when they tore up the Gimp, Ivy ran out of the room and had to throw up, and they had to go get her. So she's was being looked at as a weak link as well. So Beverly's like, yeah, we got to take care of the weak links. That's what we got to do with that little situation. We got to take care of that. So there's another little part to them sitting at the table, but we're going to hold that for just a minute. Okay, we're going to hold that for a minute because that's where we're going to end at. And I'm going to tell you what else happened between Kai and Beverly. And Kai's dangerous, but Beverly's worse. Okay, just know that. Just hold on. Okay, so RJ, we end up seeing them having a meeting. They come to the meeting. Allie's like, what I miss? Well, I'm late, this, that, and the other. Get there. RJ's ass is tied up with electrical tape and shit up in the attic. Like, what is going on? And Kai's talking about weak links and this, that, thing, and the other. And Gary's like, yeah, he'd be the first one to go turn us in. He'd go tell the authorities one thing and we all be in trouble. This, that, thing, and the other. And he's like, no. And Allie's like, no, RJ, no. RJ's cool. RJ's down, this, that, and the other. And they're like, mm-mm. And then we seen you as a weak link too, because whenever we did the thing with the Gimp, you went running off. And they said, you know, you or RJ never do any of the heavy work. Y'all have never done any of the good stuff. And Allie's like, no. So then Kai starts saying he has this nail gun. And he says, you know, the world record for nails being put into a person's head is 13. So let's give it a shot. We're going to go around the room, however many of us there is, and then we'll just continue on. Let's see if we can break a world record. Said, and being as though we kind of questioning you, Allie, you go first. Now, the thing is, if you want to show him some pity, maybe you could take him out of his misery before we get to 13. So she ends up going up and ends up telling him, I'm sorry. And she did it. She shot his ass in the head. Everybody took a shot, shooting him in the head, Kai included. Then Kai goes, you know, they all went around. So I think they were only at, let's see, Gary, Beverly, Kai, Ivy, Winter, and the guy, Meadows' husband, and the detective. Yeah, so just 7. So they're like, okay, well, we can go around again. Let's see if we can make a world record. And said, or maybe not. So then Kai goes with his sadistic self and says, he walks up to him, and he licks the blood on his face, because there's blood running down. Licks the blood on his face and says, good night, sweet prince. And says, you know, the medulla oblongata, and explains exactly where to put the nail to take him right out. And he goes right behind him, right up in here, and bam, shoots him and kills him real quick. He could have did that the whole time. And had Ivy known that, she could have done it, bam, and took him out of his misery, but she's stupid and she didn't know, and he had to go through all the pain and the misery, and they felt like they were all connected and they were all good. They are dangerous and they are sadistic as hell, especially that damn Kai. So anyway, so that happened. Now let's go. This is when it gets really, really interesting. So we're doing the pinky swear thing. You know everybody's scared of Kai, right? But they really should be scared of Beverly. Beverly and Kai's talking. Beverly's like, you know what? I want to know. He's like asking her these questions. She's like, oh, damn all that. I want to know about you. Because I come in this house and I see pictures hanging up of family and all that. Where's your parents? and stuff. Where's the rest of your family and all of that? And he's like, I don't talk about it. He said, they're dead, but I don't talk about it. She said, okay, well, damn all that. Secrets are, what did she say? Secrets or something about fear or something. And he's like, all right. She's like, I want to know the real you. What's really going on? So he gets to telling her the truth, tells her his real story. That he was, ain't this a trip? He was in college and got his degree for religious studies. Ain't that a bitch? For religious studies. Winter was in college at the time, so she was away at college. His father and mother, they were happy, for the most part. Then the father ended up being into a motorcycle accident and ended up being a paraplegic. And he's no feeling from his waist down. He's in a wheelchair and all of this, which ended up making him be very, very mean, very bitter. He was very abusive, mostly mentally and verbally. And the mother was being accused. The father was accusing the mother of sleeping around. Told her, who you screwing? This, that, thing, and the other. And they're having this conversation right at the dinner table over top of Kai. And Kai's like getting mad at the dad about mistreating the mother. And he tells her, she said, let's not have this conversation in front of our son. He goes, I think he needs to know whose dick you're bouncing up and down on. Yeah, he didn't know whose dick his mother's bouncing up and down. I said, oh my God, he was a mess. Dad was a mess. So later on that night, you see Kai sitting there, and you can hear the mother and father. They steady going at it. Then you hear bam, bam, like 2 shots. You go up there, baby. The mother has taken a shotgun and literally shot the father right in the midsection, baby, and killed his ass. Dead. And then she put the gun in her mouth, and he's like, no. She's like, it's the only way to be free. Blew her brains out. So it was a murder-suicide. So Kai's sitting there in the midst of them, like, oh my God. And Beverly says, well, what did you do next? He said, I called my brother. Baby, when the camera panned up and the brother showed up, I about fell on the floor when I found out who the brother is. The therapist is the brother. So the therapist is the brother, Winter is the sister, and Kai. Those are the 3 screwed up goddamn siblings. I said, oh. So the brother gets to telling them about what they get ready to do. Kai is still, he's normal at this point. He's saying, this ain't going to work well. I just started my practice, and I don't want to be trying to explain to my clients. I'm a psychologist. I'm explaining to my clients how my mother killed my father, then killed herself. No, that ain't going to work out well for me at all. Then he's like, then this house, he's like, her check and his check, and then the policy, because there was $1 million policy with the father. It was like he had one of them policies where if you get into something really, really bad and injured, you get the money. As long as you don't die. If you don't die and you end up being like paraplegic, you get this money. It was $1 million. So he's like, that $1 million will be gone. The house is going to go. The mother's check is going to go, and all of that. A mess. Because, of course, the mother was getting the Social Security check from being, the wife. And now he's disabled. So she was getting a check too. Shit, they was better off, way better off than when the father was up and around. So, he's like, basically all these monetary reasons. He's like, He said, we're going to take them, put them in the bed, get some lime, put it all on them to keep the smell down, and that's what's going to be. Put them up in the room, baby, lock the room, and had them laying up in the bed, baby. They was laying there. He said, they'll decompose, this, that, the other. Kai's like, that's crazy. When you explain it to him, Kai's like, okay. Then Kai was saying, yeah. He said, I go up and I visit them sometime. That's what she said, is they still here? He's like, yeah, I go up and I visit and I talk to him sometime. And then they showed him talking to the 2 dead bodies. And he's telling the mother, he's like, I love you. I'm going to do something. I'm going to make you very proud of me. And you asshole, I'm just glad that you're sitting there just I can watch you just decompose, you bastard. That's all. All right, honey. So that's what where we see Kai is nutty as a fruitcake, honey. And he sat there, and then by that time we flip back to present time, and he broke down. He's like sitting there crying, and Beverly's just sitting there looking at him like, and that's when I said she just tapped into Kai's weakness. Kai ain't the real dangerous one. The real dangerous one is that goddamn Beverly. I don't trust her because Beverly, she has all the rage and all of the bravado and all of that. Everything that Kai got, but she really ain't got no feelings. She don't give a damn. She is dangerous. And we better be watching out for Beverly. Watch that damn Beverly, honey. But that's it. That's actually where it ended. Again, Ryan Murphy, fabulous. This and that last little part about Kai, baby, you know I was in it like this, honey. Woo! Writing fabulous. This is crazy how well this is done and how shitty Roanoke was for me. He is really, really back on track with why I fell in love with American Horror Story. Anyway, again, look how long this daggone thing is. I talked over 25 minutes, almost 26 minutes. I'm done with it. I'm done. Till next Tuesday. I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. All right. Later, guys.